Good day everyone. Just doing a video on a Cooper's Lager that I brewed. It was the one that came with the kit, and I made a few modifications. I'm a new brewer, so I'm not obviously as experienced as a lot of other people out there, but I'll give you an idea of perhaps if you're thinking about doing a brew yourself, how difficult it is. I use temperature controlled, a temperature controlled fridge with a temperature controller and a heat belt, so I managed to keep the temperature around 18 degrees, so that was pretty good. And I used S04 yeast, which is not really a sort of standard yeast. Most people use US 05. It leaves some residual sugar, the S04. It doesn't attenuate quite as much as US 05, but I think it tastes quite good. And I also used a kilo of light dry malt instead of the brewing sugar that comes with the kit. So this is one from that batch. This is my first attempt at brewing. I think it turned out pretty well, and I said even before I started it, if I end up with something that's drinkable, it's a success in my opinion, because you hear a lot of new brewers that try their first brew and they just go, look, it's disgusting, I can't even drink it. And it's very drinkable. I've had a few of these now. I've got a date on the front there just to keep track of when I actually bottled it. So it was bottled on the 3rd of the 1st, and it's now the 21st of the 2nd. So it's been in the bottles nearly 2 months, which is a good amount of time. It's an excellent amount of time from what I'm reading. It's pretty much hit its peak pretty well. I also added some hops too. I added some Cascade hops. I dry hopped them as well. So it's a bit of a pimped up Cooper's Lager, but the hops really weren't even necessary because a lot of that hop aroma faded quite quickly, so it's barely even detectable now, I find anyway, to my palate, to my inexperienced palate. So let's have a look at what it comes out like. The carbonation is a little bit bubbly. It's kind of a bit like a lemonade. I'll show you when I pour it. So yeah, the bubbles are kind of like a bit like a lemonade, like they're quite large. Not entirely sure why that happened. I think it might be because it's a relatively thin brew. There's not a huge amount of body to it, but it would have been nice if that would have been a little bit more. The bubbles had been smaller because the head retention it fades quite quickly as well. So let's have a look at it. Whoa, that was a terrible pour. That was shocking. It actually bubbled a lot more than it usually does too. Let's just wait for it to die down for a minute. I've been pouring my ginger beer like that because it's actually quite undercarbonated, so I'm actually stirring it up a lot when I'm pouring it, and I got into the habit of actually pouring it and just dropping it straight in. That was a bit of a mistake. So while we're waiting for that to die down, let's have a close look at the bubbles. This one's actually pretty good. Usually the bubbles are quite a lot bigger than that, and as you can see, it's got well, this one's got a head on it because I stuffed up when I poured it. But yeah, you can see from that actually this one actually looks like it's got a bit of a better head on it than the other ones that I've been pouring. Let's just fill it up. Okay, now I've actually fixed that terrible pour. You can sort of see it there. The head only usually lasts for maybe three or 4 minutes, 5 minutes sort of thing. It dies down quite fast. So I have to sort of tweak that obviously so it's a bit better. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's pretty clear. I cold crashed it. It's not super clear, but it's pretty clear. The glass is also a bit frosty. A torch behind it might help to see actually how clear it is, but you can see it's relatively clear. It's pretty clear for a homebrew, and also when it's in the fridge, once you fridge it the second time, it clears up again after you've cold crashed it. So it's pretty clear. You can see it on the bottom there, it's quite clear. Now, for taste wise, let's have a taste of it. It's quite bitter for my liking, but for most people it won't be too much. The bitterness kind of hits you when you first start drinking it, but then it sort of dies away, as it tends to do with beer. After you've had a few sips, it kind of goes away. It's thin. It's a thin lager. It's a good drink for I think for hot weather. You can slam it down pretty fast. It's very thin bodied, goes down really well. Got a bit of a malty taste as well from the malt, obviously. In the aftertaste, there's a bit of a malt taste to it, and Yeah, it's very easy to drink. I've brewed a Abbey Blonde, a Cooper's Abbey Blonde kit since then. That's more of a sort of specialty beer, I guess. And to be honest, if it was between this and the Abbey Blonde, I'd be drinking the Abbey Blonde. It's quite amazing actually. It's very peppery. It's beautiful beer. This one is probably good for hot weather, I think, but it's probably more of a stepping stone. It's something that you can brew to get an idea of how to brew, more than something that you'd probably repeatedly do. I have another can of the lager, because I actually bought 2 kits. I have another can. I'll probably do it exactly the same as I did with this one, except I won't put the hops in because it's kind of a waste of time. So as you can see, a couple of minutes have passed and the head's died down quite a lot. This one's lasting not too bad actually. It's going pretty well. But some of the other ones I've opened, they've died down very quickly. So that sort of inconsistency might actually come from the carbonation drops more than anything else, because I didn't bulk prime, I used the carbonation drops. So anyway, that's it for this video, just my review of the lager. Massive success. I mean, this stuff's so drinkable, it's ridiculous. As most of my friends have said that have tried it, they first start trying it and they go, yeah, it's okay, I'm not sure. After they've had a few sips, you know, half a glass, it's like, wow, you know, like that's going down so easy. It's very drinkable. So if you're looking at doing your own brews, or you've got one of these kits, get stuck into it. Highly recommend replacing the brewing sugar with the malt. I think that helped a lot for its drinkability. I don't know if I'd bother with replacing the yeast either. I'd probably just use the Cooper's can yeast for that. I don't think it's worthwhile investing too much money in this beer, but the malt would definitely make it more drinkable and less taste sort of like homebrew, I think. Yeah, so that's it. Good luck if it's your first brew, and thanks for watching the video.